Monkey Man is a damn miracle. Not only because of all the behind the scenes stuff that happens, that kind of stopped the movie from almost being made. Dev Patel breaking his hand in the first action scene, breaking his toes, getting an eye infection, the movie getting stopped in the pandemic, then getting picked up by Netflix, then dropped, so we almost never got this movie. Then Jordan Peele luckily picking it up and bringing it to Universal so we can get it in theaters. And I think the end result is fantastic, but will it be for you? Let's attack it. A young man ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where night after night, wearing a gorilla mask, he's beaten bloody by more popular fighters for cash. After years of suppressed rage, he discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. As his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hands unleash an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. This movie has been heavily marketed and compared to something like John Wick, and now that people have seen the film, people are comparing it to Kill Bill. And while I do think this movie shares elements from those films just because it's well shot and it's also a revenge plot, I think it's its own beast. It has inspirations from Korean cinema more, especially Korean revenge films, because they make some of the best revenge films, and I think that Dev Patel pulls from those movies a lot. And he's also quoted to say that he pulls from Enter the Dragon and a lot of Bruce Lee films in terms of how the plot is structured around the action. And I think that you can see that this movie is very, very different from a lot of American action films, even though this is made by a lot of American producers and things like that, even though it was shot in Indonesia. The movie's bursting at the seams with personality, grit, action. Is a revenge plot about faith, which is kind of unique in this action space, and has a ton of heart as Dev Patel crafted this character in this story who has a lot of rage, and you can see it behind his eyes, you can feel it within the plot. And as his backstory and his memories start playing out throughout the film, you get really behind what he's doing and all his action. The movie has a revenge plot that has a bit of a central mystery, but that you can kind of see coming from a mile away, but you're still interested to see how it plays out, because exactly how you think it's going to play out, it's done in a more visceral way that you would never expect. And it's also a part political and social thriller. It has a commentary on the caste system in India, which all these elements kind of uplift each other. The political social part uplifts the revenge story, and the revenge story uplifts that part as well to create a beautiful concoction.
Nice.
In the center of this movie is the protagonist, played by Dev Patel, who does a fantastic job of playing this character with a wide of emotions, and he nails all of them at a top level. Like I said, we talked about this rage, this anger that he has, but there's a softness and kindness to the character that makes you feel for him, other than like other really action heroes who are like these perfect assassins. This character is not. We're meeting him at the beginning. We're meeting him getting better and not just being a John Wick who's a fully formed character that's just out to kill, or Kill Bill, who is, or the main character in Kill Bill, Uma Thurman, who's already this trained assassin. He makes mistakes. You can see that he's smart and cunning, and that makes you fall in love with the character because of how smart he is, but he's not this perfect fighter, which makes him very, very relatable and inspiring. Patel actually doesn't just do double duty, he does triple duty, because this is his directorial debut. And he does a fantastic job of making this movie stylish in almost every single frame of the film. It's kinetic from scene to scene, brutal, funny, and mind-stimulatingly visceral. It makes you really engage through the movie throughout. The movie is also sweaty, gory, and really, really dirty and nasty, while also being very pristine in the way it's made, so it creates some really beautiful, gorgeous shots. Honestly, this feels like Patel was directing this movie like this was going to be his last chance to ever direct ever. You could feel it, that everything has a purpose, everything flows really well. Some people may have some pacing issues as we get to the middle of the movie, where some maybe of the kinetic moments kind of slow down as we discover more about this character. For me, it worked because I was so invested in his character arc and finding about his past. But some people who came to watch this movie because they're thinking it's a John Wick clone, to see him just smash heads throughout, maybe a little bit disappointing because it's not as much action in it as you may have thought based on the trailers. I think it's a very strong balance between action, character work, the overall story and everything that's going on in India, and a lot of the spiritual themes that are going throughout. But if you wanted something that was non-stop, wall-to-wall action, you're not gonna get that. There's a lot of great action sequences in this movie. There's 2 really big ones and a bunch of small ones in between, but a lot of the movie is this character going through a lot of different emotions and pain, and showcasing the way India is in this, like, the political climate in the modern day.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
And one thing that enhances all these moments is the music, and the music is a mixture of Indian music, of course, modern rap, which I'm so happy finally modern rap music is more in films. We're not only getting 90s films where people are like, oh, let's throw this Biggie Small songs in here and everyone will like it. The use of those songs and like the traditional action movie songs you would hear, those precursors that's like really inspiring and uplifting and things like that, are a great mix and used to enhance and tell the story. The quieter moments when people aren't talking or just getting in action physically, but the song is telling the story. Music is a big part of Indian culture. Dev Patel really understood that and used music in here to kind of enhance every single aspect in a beautiful way that I don't really see in a lot of films. You know, I love this movie. I have a lot of praise for it. It feels wholly unique because of all the different elements with how deep we get into the Indian culture, the action, how awesome it is, the character, and how we don't really see action characters exactly like this with Dev Patel's amazing performance. But there are some critiques that I have for the film that happened personally for me, and I can see bothering other people. So for one, I think that the movie starts off a little messy and shaky. It takes a little time to find its footing, but once it does ground itself and it finds the flow that it wants to go to, it's nearly non-stop, and it's just such a great thrill ride. Or even if it's not a great thrill ride, it's a really great lesson that they're doing and a great character exploration. Another issue is if you don't like shaky cam, you're gonna have big problems with huge chunks of this movie because it switches between a smooth, you know, you see everything fight scenes and also like shaky cam. I think it was used for storytelling purposes, but if you don't like shaky cam, no matter what, you're gonna have a problem with it. Also, I noticed, and this may be because it's his first time directing, first time writing, there are elements that were in the beginning of the film that kind of disappear when the third act comes, which might bother some people if you're invested in certain things. For me, because of how the movie was built up and how it's so focused on Dev Patel's character and how awesome the third act ended up being, I didn't mind, but I could see other people being bothered by that. Despite all the flaws of the film, this movie was made for me because I love movies that have personality, swings for the fences, try to put everything they can in every frame. It has this great kinetic energy, and I just loved every aspect of the movies, even with its flaws. There's movies that are technically perfect from beginning to end, but not as inspiring or as fun as something like this. We're seeing a person that may be seen as a master at his work in the future if he's on the path he seems like he's going to be on with this particular movie, with acting and directing. His writing may be the weakest part in the film, but that's still not even that bad. It's still really, really good and told a great story. And I really think that the positives outweigh the negatives by far. This is one of the best action movies that I've personally seen in a long time, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it, and I hope you guys do too. With that said, I'm gonna give Monkey Man an A. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate Monkey Man? Let me know in the comments down below how you personally felt about the film, and if you're checking out my non-spoiler review before you get to see the film, let me know if you're gonna go check it out now in theaters or you're gonna wait for streaming or skip it completely. If you like my review, hit that like button. If you want to join the Zach Attack Nation, attack that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of my reviews, reactions, live discussions, and much more. You can watch more of my content right now.